What's up, guys? I'm back again. So, guys, I didn't been on YouTube for a couple days, like for some weeks, because I was a little sick.
During a road trip, I was passing through Ohio. It was around that time I was starting to get sleepy behind the wheel. So I stopped in this small town called Xenia. I looked for a hotel or motel and found this place called Xenia Country Inn. It looked a little run down, but so did this whole town if I'm being honest. Plus, all I needed was a night's sleep. Nothing fancy. So I parked in the lot and went to the little front office, which was in the front corner of one of the two buildings to the motel. There was an old man sitting there reading the paper. It was hot in there, and there was a loud buzzing sound from his tabletop fan. I asked for a room, and the man finally looked up from his paper without greeting me and said 65. I assumed he meant $65 for the room, so I handed him my credit card. I asked if it's possible to get a corner room, and he simply said no. The customer service here was clearly not something included in the price. The man handed me this old-fashioned key on an otherwise blank key ring. They still didn't use key cards at this place. I walked across the parking lot to my room. The door was actually hard to unlock. I had to shimmy the key a little just to get it to finally turn. Before walking in, I looked around the lot, and there were only two other cars in the parking lot. It was a ghost town. I stepped into the room, and it smelled like a mix of cotton and vomit. I wondered if I should go back and ask for a different room, but I realized by the look of this place, all the rooms probably smelt. The room was small, and had a blue, dirty, worn-out looking carpet, a couch, a small coffee table, and a bed. I shut the door and tried to lock it, but I was having trouble. More trouble than I did unlocking it. After about 30 seconds of shimmying and almost popping a blood vessel trying to unlock it, I felt I may have broken it. But when I tried opening the door, it wouldn't open. So even though the door wasn't fully locked, as long as the door wouldn't open, that's all that mattered, I figured. I crawled up in the bed, and I heard all the old springs squeaking as my weight pushed into the mattress and the bed frame. I tried putting on the TV, but of course the remote didn't work. So I just crawled under the covers and tried to go to sleep. Then it happened. I nearly jumped out of my own skin, and there was one loud thump at the window. I looked at the guy standing outside of it, and he started talking, sounding all hurt and in need of help. He was saying, "Hey, please let me in, I hurt myself bad, I need help." And he definitely saw me in that bed. I yelled back to go to the front desk. He wouldn't stop though. There was no way I was opening that door. I had a feeling he was acting and this was a trap. Eventually, after ignoring him for long enough, he left. I turned to check and confirm, and he was gone. I hadn't realized how truly unsafe this area was. I had to get up and check the lock on the door just to be safe and make sure the door wouldn't open. I gave the door a couple good pulls, and it didn't open. I then closed the curtains in front of the two windows so that he couldn't come back and look in at me again. That shook me up a bit, but the nerves calmed within half an hour, and I was able to fall into a half sleep not too long after. I started having this weird dream where I was in a closed supermarket running from the manager who was chasing me, and at some point during the dream, these clicking sounds started taking over, to the point that my whole dream shifted to incorporate these sounds, and then with that, I was awake. The room was cold for some reason. Then I looked down and realized the blanket was pulled off of me. I sat up to pull it back over me, but then I saw at the foot of the bed, there was this tall figure looming over me. Before I could scream, he went, "Shh."